G'day there guys, frequently uses shampoo as soap here, it's your main man Markee and welcome back to another episode of r/Am I the A-hole? Now if you love today's bloody good content, I want you to sit back, relax, chug a prawn on the barbie, and enjoy today's bloody good stories. Thank you. Posted by user Yaris in Paris, titled, Am I the A-hole for helping my daughter hide her secret from our family? So I'm from Iraq, and ever since the war ended, I only ever wanted just a normal life. I was young, and being a soldier under the regime really made me realize how lucky I was to even make it out and live the way I do now. I know American soldiers can get PTSD, but fighting against the most technologically advanced force on Earth gave me super mega PTSD. War isn't especially fun from the losing side. Everything feels like it's falling apart, and no one has your back. In the end, I made it out alive, but the scars stay forever. After the war, I moved in with my wife, settled down, and had our daughter. At that time during the war, and in my youth, I was brainwashed into many things, and the fanaticism I once had was not there anymore. I just wanted to work, love my wife, and take care of my daughter. I no longer cared who people slept with or who's their partner. I went through something I don't want other people to experience, so why would I do the same to others who have another set of experience? My wife and her family, sadly, still are homophobic. It's not something that we talk about, but I know that if my daughter were to come out to them, then she would suffer and run away from us. My daughter did come out to me, but I told her that she should not tell her mom or family because they would treat her bad and it would cause a breakup. Just like in Iraq, I didn't want my girl to be attacked from all sides, overwhelmed by family hatred and invalidity, and have no support. My daughter loves her mom, yet I know her mom won't love her if she knows. My daughter is now grown up. She's now going to study and has a job. On her birthday, I gave her a bit more cash so that she can move. This started a big fight with me and my wife because she thinks my daughter's studying is a waste of time and money. During this, I told my wife what is what. I told her that our daughter is who she is and that it's time for her to find her path. We got into a big fight, and ultimately, now we're getting divorced. I knew this would happen, and that now there might no longer be any family gatherings. I just wanted my daughter to have a family. Edit, I didn't doubt my daughter against her wishes. She told me to tell her mum. My daughter really loves her mum, and she's terrified of being disowned or hearing bad words from her mum. My wife, during our fight, called her, without her being there, many bad words towards lesbians to my daughter, so trust me, my daughter knew that would happen, she just didn't want to hear it. OP has offered the following explanation for why they think they might be the a-hole. My wife says I should have told her sooner and that I should not have kept a lie, but I felt it was for my daughter's safety. While I agree in a lot of instances with different situations, telling your wife sooner and not keeping it a lie because technically you were lying by omission would make you an a-hole, I don't think it does in this situation. You've been through war, and you're likening that to what your daughter will experience if this secret comes out. And to me, those values your family has that are against your daughter are somewhat incompatible with modern life, and I feel like those are just things that don't need to exist in this world. You did what was best for your daughter's safety, you waited until she was of age to protect herself, and now she can escape and live her own life away from this family. I feel like you did everything right by your daughter, now was the time to have told your wife, and you knew what was going to happen because it did happen. Shock horror. You did a great job, OP, and I applaud you for it. Not the a-hole. Northern Lit Up says, not the a-hole. Your daughter will have a family. She will have you and any other family member who decides to accept her. She will also have the family she creates for herself of accepting friends, and possibly even a partner and children. The rest of your former family will miss out on all of that and will be left alone with their hatred. And OP replies, I met her girlfriend in her graduation and it was great. It was sad that we had to secretly do it without letting other members of our family know. It was just us three, and my daughter says, "Hey Dad, before Mum comes, she's my girlfriend." And we talked for a minute. I was so happy for her to have someone. All my life has been around war. My father was a veteran and fought against Iran, and ever since I was a kid, it was all about following codes and strict discipline. They tell you who you can love, who you can't, and for once in my life, I was happy that someone, especially my daughter, can live how she wants, love who she wants, and even work where she wants, which is big. I've never seen a woman work what she wants, at least in my family. They missed out on a girl who achieved many firsts in our family just because she's a lesbian, and that breaks my heart a little bit. When my daughter was 17, she said she wanted to join the US Marines, and I even still love her if she does, lol. We do joke about it, and you're right. She's my family, and it's all I need. I moved from Iraq so she could be herself, and it's sad that my family never understood that. I told my wife, back when we were young, I saw kids get bullied for being gay. That could have been your daughter had we stayed. And all she said was, "Good." After that, I knew it was over. I deal with my own demons, and I'm tired. I want to play video games anyway. Snoop Odd says, "Not the a-hole 3 times. First, I really want to thank you for being such a wonderful parent. I want you to pat yourself on the back for your transformation in life. Yes, you went through tremendous difficulties, constant war, constant fear, and PTSD. Yet you overcame that and freed yourself in terms of accepting things that were new to you. Your daughter is lucky to have a father like you, one who supports her and wants her to be her true self. Oftentimes, we've been taught to put ourselves in the back seat for the family, but you stood up against your wife for your daughter. You have been the pillar that she needs, especially dealing with a mother that she has. I'm sorry this has led to divorce, but I truly hope things work out for you in the long run. I hope this will not deter your daughter from getting that education and achieving her goals. Unfortunately, your wife's love is conditional, and it's a shame that she's willing to sacrifice her relationships for her outdated beliefs. Everybody deserves a father like you in their lives." Posted by user BayXXR. Titled, "Am I the a-hole for not wanting my strict parents near my daughter?" So I, female 35, was raised by very strict, almost abusive parents. They'd yell at me for the smallest stuff, and sometimes even for stuff I didn't even do, simply because they were angry. They didn't beat me, but just the yelling was enough to F up my mental health. Their behavior really gave me a lot of problems. As I grew up, I felt I needed to be the one to break this cycle of abuse. I promised myself that if I ever had children, I'd make sure to raise them differently, not wanting them to keep the cycle going. Years later, I had a daughter, female 8. When she was born, I kept my promise. I raised her with the respect and care I wish I received from my parents, and thankfully my husband always supported me. I always made sure she felt safe to tell me anything. She's very polite and well-behaved, and I can clearly see that isn't out of fear, like it used to be with me. It makes me so happy and proud to see that I really managed to break this cycle. My husband works all day, so when my husband isn't at school and I have somewhere to go, I leave her with my parents. Ever since she was born, I always made it clear that I didn't want them to treat her like they used to treat me. They seem to understand and to be willing to change, so I decided to give them a chance. 3 days ago, my daughter spent the afternoon with them while I went to a medical appointment. When I came back to pick her up, what I saw made me flinch. My mum, female 63, was yelling at her for no reason at all. She was extremely quiet the whole time my mum yelled, like I used to do. I didn't say anything, just picked her up and left. When I entered the car with her, she started crying. I tried to comfort her before I started driving home and asked her what exactly happened. She said she loved her grandparents, but they'd often get angry and start being rude to her for no reason, even though she was always gentle with them. And to make it worse, I asked her why she had never told me about it, and she said my parents told her not to. They were basically doing to her exactly what they used to do to me. When we got home, I explained to my husband the whole situation, and he got just as angry as me. We decided to call my mum later, after I put my daughter to sleep. I asked her why she did exactly what I told her not to, and her answer was again, exactly what she used to say to me. I'm just like that. And then, the worst thing I ever heard her say was, if I don't yell, she won't learn. That's just real life. So I made a decision. I said I didn't want her, nor my dad, near my daughter, at least until they started changing their behavior. She said I couldn't keep them from seeing her, but I just told her that I was trying to protect her from having her mental health screwed up by them like I had. And then I hung up. Part of me says I did the right thing, but I can't stop thinking that maybe I was too harsh. I was just trying to protect my daughter. Am I the a-hole? OP has offered the following explanation for why they think they might be the a-hole. I think I might be the a-hole for keeping my parents from being with their granddaughter, even though I feel like I have a good reason for it. Look, I really want to say not the a-hole for this one because you gave them the benefit of the doubt, and I can understand why you did what you did because you believe that people can change. But I have to go with a territory between everyone sucks here and you're the a-hole. You said you want to do everything to protect your daughter, and you know how much your parents screwed this child up. Your parents have had so long to change and be better people, and yet you still put your daughter into an environment like this without any proof that they had changed. I'm sorry, but you did your daughter a disservice, and I think it's kind of disgusting that you put her in that situation in the first place. Like, yeah, I would like to give you the benefit of the doubt that you guys probably needed them to babysit because you guys are at work and no one is there to look after them and you can't afford childcare. These are genuine reasons to have your kid be looked after by parents. But the fact of the matter is, your husband has parents. There's other family members that can look after them that aren't these grandparents, and yet you choose to bring them to these grandparents that are abusive and never showed any signs of not being abusive. This has just rubbed me the wrong way, and I really put you at fault for it, OP. I'm gonna go with between everyone sucks here and you're the a-hole. Killing Me Quickly says, wow, frankly, everyone sucks here, because that was something you should have made damn sure of before ever leaving your daughter alone with them. You leave your young daughter with your abusive parents on a regular basis, and don't even check in to make sure she's being treated well? It sounds like you buried your head in the sand, and this is a decision that should have been made a long time ago. I actually agree with this. OP did not protect her daughter. OP knew her parents were abusive and still left her child there. If it was as simple as, please don't shout, why wouldn't they have stopped at her? The reality is that now they may have a wonderful case for grandparents' rights. And if it's court-ordered visitation, they really won't have to give a damn about what OP says they can and can't do. When I was reading how they had been to her growing up, I thought it was going to be, would I be the a-hole if I continued to not let them see my daughter? I never expected it to be, so I let them see my daughter as often as I do, and they're helping me parent her. Kufat says, everyone sucks here. The parents for obvious reasons, and you for, quote, I said I didn't want her nor my dad near my daughter, at least until they started changing their behavior, end quote. Why would you ever consider allowing your daughter to be in the same room as these people under any circumstances? How much more harm do you want to let them cause her? They aren't almost abusive. They are abusive. And the fact that they told her not to say anything to you means that they are knowingly abusive. Typical Management 680 says, everyone sucks here. You're one for giving her a chance unsupervised. And your mum is one for being abusive to children. And Nympheus says, everyone sucks here. How dare you send her to people who abused you? Personality is stable throughout lifespan. What on earth made you believe otherwise? Thank you for saying it before I did. Why would you leave your kid with abusive people in the first place? What possesses you to do that when it messed you up? Posted by user Throwaway Bunch of Numbers. Titled, Am I the a-hole for calling my brother an insecure, testicle-grabbing chauvinist man-baby over his comments about my wife's makeup? That's the actual quote. I'm still pissed as hell, but maybe I went too far here. My brother and I are both late 30s. We get along fine most of the time, but my brother doesn't do well in a lot of social situations. He says things that are inappropriate, gets overly opinionated, yells a lot, etc. He just doesn't seem to understand tact or when to let things go in a casual conversation. Our wives are best friends. They talk almost every day on FaceTime. My wife is an ex-model/actress, local, and very good with makeup. She's in her mid-30s, and we have 3 kids, and she doesn't wear much makeup anymore. But she got some as a gift for Christmas and decided she wanted to get more. Apparently, she's been buying cheap stuff, and she wanted to splurge on some good stuff. Anyway, she's been testing it all out over the last month, buying more here and there, and doing these crazy eyeshadow things. Honestly, I don't know what I'm talking about. She looks great all the time. She's gorgeous without makeup, she's really talented with it though, and she's having a lot of fun. I tease her a little since she works from home and she's wearing pajamas, but her makeup looks like she's at a nightclub. I think it's cute and funny. My brother thinks she's doing it because she's cheating or she wants to cheat. He called me this morning to say that he's concerned because he sees her on FaceTime and he's decided she must be posting pictures or sending pics to some dude or multiple dudes. I tried to blow it off and explain that it wasn't that way, but he got more aggressive about it, so I ended up yelling at him and shouting the insecure testicle man-baby thing. He's being ridiculous and needs to mind his own business, but I think I might be the a-hole for blowing up and name-calling when he's probably well-intentioned. I want to add too, my mum and brother asked, maybe other people will. No, I haven't asked my wife why she's recently starting wearing more makeup, and I'm not going to because I think asking is effing rude. She's spending money on stuff for her face, and it's a creative hobby. I'm not going to be that dick that ruins someone's creative outlet by asking them to justify it, or by insinuating there's a sinister motive behind it. It makes her happy, so I assume that's why she's doing it. Asking why is dumb and insulting in my opinion. Yeah, no, his logic doesn't hold in this one. That's just his insecurity speaking. Maybe he's hiding something there. A lot of the times that's gaslighting, being like, I'm doing something, perhaps someone else is doing it, let's put it on them to get the heat off of me. In my mind, there is genuinely nothing wrong with her wearing makeup, and it's not a call for concern that she's wearing more of it right now. This guy needs to get a grip and get a life. I'm going with not the a-hole OP. Good job for standing up for your wife. Mistress of Necropolis says, not the a-hole. When I wear makeup, I do it for me. Not my husband or any other man, me. Many women are the same way. Your brother jumping to, she wants to cheat because she's wearing makeup again, is absolute misogynistic garbage, and he needed a dressing down. You sound great and seem to really love and appreciate your wife, as well as understand what being supportive means. Keep it up. And OP replies, see, this is how I generally assume women are about makeup. Thanks for validating that. I tried to point out to my brother that a lot of what she's doing isn't even sexy makeup. It's more theatrical? I don't know, it looks like face art to me. Sometimes it's really pretty. 3 days ago, she was a drag king with a glitter beard. Whatever, I just think she's having fun, and I like it. No, thank you for having some actual brain cells and recognizing this is a creative outlet for your wife. Seconded. Opie is so supportive, it's so sweet. Jazissa says, not the a-hole. Your wife has a creative hobby that she's enjoying. We're all just trying to survive this god-awful pandemic. Right? My wife had a tough time with it and was really sick. She's shut up in this house all day every day with 3 little kids. She could take up effing underwater jewelry making at this point and I wouldn't care. Not the a-hole. You warned him, and he didn't listen, and you had to bring out the brotherly big guns to shut him down. I've got to say that I'm currently at home all the time too, and I'm still wearing full makeup almost every day. It gives me a sense of normality and lets me feel less of a shut-in. On the odd day that I do go barefaced, I definitely feel more blech by the end of the day. How about arranging an evening 1 night a week where your wife gets to dazzle you with her makeup skills? You deal with the kids and get them to bed early while she gets made up and puts on a nice dress before sitting down to a meal together. It doesn't even matter if you get takeout delivery. Just have some time when the lights are low, the music is smooth and suitable for a slow dance around the living room, and she gets to feel like a beautiful woman that you know she is, rather than just a mum who is stuck inside all day. And OP replies, "Man, see, this is why I love Reddit. Came to ask if I was a dick to my brother and got tips on how to make my wife like me more. Totally gonna do this. She'll love it. Thank you." Posted by user in a truck right now. Titled, "Am I the a-hole for walking out on my roommate and her kids?" So I've, male 26, been sharing an apartment with a mid-30s single mum of 2 boys for 6 months. The rent is cheap in this area compared to other places. I've been struggling financially despite working full-time. I have a lot of responsibilities, including taking care of my dad's medical bills. So I had no choice but to pick up the cheapest apartment. Although I'm not usually too thrilled to be around kids, but her boys are lovely. She welcomed me and treated me well. However, I noticed that she'd do things that I find a bit disrespectful, like walking into my room, letting her kids into my room, and taking things from there without my consent. I talked to her about it, but it was no use. She'd have me do things for her boys. It started as a few favors, like cooking for the kids because they love my cooking, taking them to the park, doing their laundry, or playing with them. Then she'd ask me to fix her window, get the phone fixed, drive her places, and I noticed that she made some sort of schedule for me. Preparing coffee, watching a movie with her every Thursday, and tucking the kids in bed, and making sure they brushed their teeth and showered. I felt like I was their dad. She'd send them into my room to wake me and tell me to go get them ready for school, and if I have time, to drop them off and pick them up. I told my friend about this, and she told me to not hurt my roommate by saying anything hurtful and just be considerate of her feelings because she's a struggling single mum, so I needed to continue to help. Yesterday, I was at the hospital all day. My dad was very sick. I returned to the apartment late, around 12 a.m. I was surprised to see her sitting in the kitchen waiting for me, looking upset. I said hi and went straight to my room, but she started asking why I was late and where I was all day. I said, "Excuse me?" Then she went on about how I should have returned at 6 p.m., spent time with the kids, ate dinner with her, and she said the kids were upset and that I should have tucked them in bed, but I was late. I was shocked and mad. I said I had a family emergency, and she yelled that I should have at least called her. I lost it. I blew up on her. I told her I'm not her boyfriend or husband, and that I don't need to get her consent to go anywhere. I reminded her that she's nothing but a roommate to me, and she overstepped hugely. That I had enough and will be moving out soon. She stared at me in disbelief, started crying, then walked into her room and slammed the door. Today my friend called me, telling me I was an a-hole to yell at this poor lady, and I shouldn't have told her that I'll be moving out because this will cause her to struggle with paying rent and have no one to help. I insisted to move out, but everyone I know started berating me, saying I can't do this to the kids, and called me cruel to walk out on them like that. And OP has offered the following explanation for why they think they might be the a-hole. I think blowing up like that and saying that I'll be moving out was harsh. Sounded like I was holding it over her head. While I agree it was a bit harsh that you presented it like that, In the heat of the moment and facing someone that's antagonizing you like that with, stupid expectations and precedents being set, I can see why you did blow up, and I can't fault you for that one. It does kind of seem like it was a setup and that you were doing this to test her reaction and you got the reaction you wanted. But at the end of the day, she should be the rational human here and realize, oh, he's not my partner. I don't have an investment in this guy like normal relationships do. I shouldn't do this to him. Instead, she treated you like a husband or a boyfriend. And that's not right. She's just a roommate. She doesn't have that privilege. It's not your place to be an actual father figure to these kids, and it's unfair of her to put that expectation on you. So I can't blame you for blowing up. I would have done the same. Not the a-hole. And in the comments, Working Salamander says, not the a-hole. It definitely sounds like she's cast you into a family role that you did not sign up for. She made a frickin' schedule for him. It's bad she sent her kids into his room to wake him up. That's crossing so many lines. Even the friends are being weird. He has no obligation to them besides paying rent and being a good tenant. He is not walking out on them. He's not her significant other or the children's father. He's just a roommate. It started out with a lease, how did it end up like this? It was only a lease, it was only a lease. Now they're calling him dad, and he's tucking him in as they fill up his life, throw his time in the bin. You guys get what's going on here. Curly hair, brown-eyed says, super weird. Move out at the earliest if you can. I don't think both of you can go back to a normal roommate scenario again. Not the a-hole. Indeed, move out and get new friends. Run, lest you stay long enough to get taken to court for child support. If the friends feel so strongly about the situation, they can volunteer to play step-parent. The single mother nor her children are your responsibilities, not the a-hole. And Loaf1669 says, not the a-hole. She's treating you like her husband or the kid's father, and you are not. Also, your friend is not your friend if they're pressuring you to stay in a situation like this. Let me say this. You have no obligation, nor do you owe this woman anything. You are a roommate, nothing else. You can't walk out on a responsibility that isn't yours. These people berating OP are honestly crazy. Like they either must have heard a completely different story to the one OP posted, or there is something mentally wrong with them. In what world would OP be in the wrong? G'day there guys, and that's the end of today's episode. I do hope you enjoyed it and were entertained by today's bloody good content. As always, I want to do a quick shout out and a thank you to all my channel members and Patreon subscribers. Your beautiful faces and names will be up on screen right now. Haven't forgot about you guys, sorry I was taking a little break there. So yeah, if you see yourself, give yourself a pat on the back. If you want to be on this screen, there's links down to the description below where you can sign up and help support the channel and all future projects that I'm going to be doing on this one. With all that said, I hope you guys have an amazing day, night, sleep, whatever you're up to. I'll see you in the next episode, and I do hope you enjoy it. Thank you.